Shalom, shalom. As always, I want to start this lesson off by giving all glory, honor, and thanks to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son for this wisdom and knowledge. That's Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem or Kakadash, as well as the double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, Great Millstone, whom I learned this truth from, and a shalom to the rest of the elders in Akim around the globe, bringing this word out within sincerity, truth, and diligence. And I got this titled Esau versus Leviticus. Esau being the so-called white man, and you see the Shedemite devil on the screen with a little graphic, I know, but with blood coming out. And why I did this is because I found Leviticus, the book of Leviticus, particular in the NLT translation, to be very edifying. And what it specifically, 5 major takeaways I took away from that is it basically tells you not to eat pork, not to eat specific types of seafood, not to eat or drink anything with blood in it, as you see on the screen, not to participate in any of the rainbow, I say in air quote, activities, you know what I mean, and then not to basically finesse and tax people to death. And exactly what the scriptures say not to do, the so-called white man does it tenfold and promotes it and incentivizes it. So let's get into it. Let's start first with pork, because we all know that pork is not good for you. There's a video I did, a little short, that said stop eating pork, and you see this woman, she pours Diet Pepsi onto a slab of pork, and all these freaking worms and maggots come out of it. Pork is not clean. The pig and the Leviticus, it's going to tell you why. Leviticus 11 verse 3 in the NLT. You may eat any animal that is completely split hooves. Let me start again. Leviticus 11 verse 3. You may eat any animal that has completely split hooves and choose the cud. You may not, however, eat the following animals that have split hooves or that chew the cud, but not both. The camel chews cud. The camel chews the cud, but does not have split hooves, so it was ceremonially unclean for you. The hyrax chews the cud, but does not have split hooves, so it is unclean. The hare chews the cud, but does not have split hooves, so it is unclean. And here we go at verse 7, speaking on pork, which comes from pigs. The pig has evenly split hooves, but does not chew the cud, so it is unclean. You may not eat the meat of any of these animals or even touch their carcasses. They are ceremonially unclean for you. All right, so that's speaking on, and what was one of the biggest animals you see promoted to eat in this wicked ass kingdom is pork. All these pizza commercials and all these barbecue, get your ribs. That's the scripture say. You're not even supposed to touch that. And Lord willing, I get into a lesson, what's the number one sport in America? Football. That's played with a pigskin, which shows you that this is the kingdom of Cain. Esau being the descendant of Cain. Okay, let's go to the next one, number 2. Some of these seafoods. Catfish, all these shellfish. That shit we not supposed to eat, but Esau makes it a delicacy in his kingdom. And you see a lot of these, especially these Judite women, they love these damn seafood boils with the scallops and shrimp and all that shit, but we not supposed to be eating that. Continuing, Leviticus 11, starting at 9, on these marine animals in the NLT. Of all the marine animals, these are ones you may use for food. You may eat anything from the water if it has both fins and scales, whether taken from salt water or from the streams. But you must never eat animals from the sea or from rivers that do not have both fins and scales. They are detestable to you. This applies both to little creatures that live in shallow water and to all the creatures that live in deep water. They will always be detestable to you. You must never eat their meat or even touch their dead bodies. Any marine animals that does not have both fins and scales is detestable to you. And coming into this truth, studying and learning under the beloved Akim GMS Las Vegas, they advised, they brought up catfish being one of the animals from the sea that you can't eat. And I was like, why is that? Because catfish doesn't have any scales. Okay, so as it says, if it don't have any scales or fins, it's detestable. But Esau promotes lobster, shrimp, catfish, all these animals under the sea that we're not supposed to eat. And really, those are bottom feeders. They are like the cleaning agents, the vacuums to the ocean. They're there to keep all the algae and the bottom of the sea clean, and that's detestable. It's not clean to eat that. But Esau makes that a delicacy in his kingdom, which is basically just another way of him putting up a middle finger to what's righteous. But if you notice, the so-called Jewish people, they the ones that own everything, yet they don't tell they people to eat none of that, no pork. They call it kosher. So it shows you this guy's the devil, and he's a complete hypocrite, and he's the accuser of thy brethren. He puts all this wickedness in front of Jake and allows him to eat it, and then goes to the Lord and says, look what your people are doing it. But Esau's the one that puts all this out in front of us. Continuing to number 3, eating blood. Because you go to a lot of these steakhouses, one of the terms they use when you get a cooked steak is rare. That means that's the lowest way to cook it, and they serve it to you, which it'll still have a lot of blood in it. When someone gets their steak rare or medium rare, there's still blood in it, and you're not supposed to do that. Leviticus 17 verse 10 in the NLT. And if any native Israelite or foreigner living among you eats or drinks blood in any form, I will turn against that person and cut him off from the community of your people. For the life of the body is in its blood. I have given you the blood on the altar to purify you, making you right with the Lord. It is the blood given in exchange for a life that makes purification possible. That is why I have said to the people of Israel, you must never eat or drink blood, neither you nor the foreigners living among you. And continuing, if any native Israelite or foreigner living among you goes hunting and kills an animal or bird that is approved for eating, he must drain its blood and cover it with earth. The life of every creature is in its blood. That is why I have said to the people of Israel, you must never eat or drink blood, for the life of any creature is in its blood. So whoever consumes blood will be cut off from the community. Okay? And it just continues off on how unclean that is, and what's Esau do. And I believe Machine Gun Kelly, him and one of his famous harlot, I forget what harlot he was so-called dating at the time, but they did some type of wicked-ass ritual of drinking blood. Not supposed to do that shit. That's super unclean. To verse 4, speaking or example number 4 of Esau going completely against the scriptures and everything that's righteous and pretending to follow the Bible, but doing everything the Bible tells you not to do and incentivize. One of those main things is those rainbow activities, making this is even worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. Leviticus 18 verse 22 in the NLT. Do not practice homosexuality. Having sex with another man as with a woman is a detestable sin. Pretty cut and to the point on that. 2 chapters down in 20th chapter, verse 13. If a man practices homosexuality, having sex with another man as with a woman, both men have committed a detestable act. They must both be put to death, for they are guilty of a capital offense. As well as Romans, the 1st chapter, 26 and 27. It prophesies and speaks on the lust in the future that men would go after men and women after women. But where do you see that promoted most? In the so-called Western societies, which that's Esau. He has the foot in all these Western, U.S., Canada, South America, Europe, South Africa, Australia, those are countries mainly run by Esau, and he promotes all that rainbow Fruit Loop shit. And it was cut clear as day. It said don't do that, but Esau promotes it. And let's go to number 5. Basically speaking on, you're not supposed to finesse and tax your brother to death. And that's exactly, we all live in pursuing to Haggai 1 and 6. We're all living in debt, and Baruch 3 and 8, we're subject to payment. And that's how he keeps us further enslaved. That's one of the tools. Not only do we have a physical slavery, and the modern day version of that is prison and jail, but we also have financial slavery under Esau and a gender slavery. He puts the woman above the man, and a lot of the times, the woman's able to put you on child support. It speaks on unrighteous decrees. Let's go to this. This is Leviticus 19, verse 13. Do not defraud or rob your neighbor. Do not make your hired workers wait until the next day to receive their pay. And I don't work jobs. I was driving a bus out here in Las Vegas. You get paid every 2 weeks. And I did the math. Out of 31 days in a month, I got a bill about every 3 days on average. Yet I'm getting paid twice a month. How's that add up? And that's what Esau and Amalek, being the so-called Jewish people, they're the ones that own and control all these banks. They are completely unrighteous. They make you wait a week to 2 weeks to get the pay you should have already got paid for. And the last one is how he taxes us to death and makes us, go further into debt with these credit cards so he can hit us all up with interest. Leviticus 25, verse 35 in the NLT. If one of your fellow Israelites falls into poverty and cannot support himself, support him as you would a foreigner or a temporary resident and allow him to live with you. Do not charge interest or make a profit at his expense. Instead, show your fear of Yahweh by letting him live with you as your relative. Remember, do not charge interest on money you lend him or make a profit on food you sell him. Right there. And as soon as a bro get paid, I'm paying off credit card debt, and that credit card debt that I initially had, let's say a couple months ago, grows even taller and bigger, and I sink further into debt because Amalek, the Jewish people who controls all these banks, he hits us up with interest so he can have a nation of debt slaves. And there's a couple more examples on that abort it speaks on, and there's a few more in Leviticus that Esau is completely against. But it just shows you that these are not the people of the book. They're not the people of the Lord, and the Lord hates these people. And when extreme judgment comes down, you're going to see why. Because this man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. I hope this is edifying. Shalom.